for. Another day is almost here. Until the day at least you will say it's like the end of time. When I know it come to me, I do believe it can be real. Until the day at least you will say it's like the end. Hey, no, it could be so true, and it could be so full, but to everyone they want to say that they could be a superhero, be another woman, be a powerful man, anything they want to play. Anything.
Hey you guys, it's Vanessa Morgan right here on Vamo Radio, and I'm here with the beautiful, lovely, best-selling author Cathlene Miner. Hi Kathleen, how are you?
Hey Vanessa, I am awesome. How are you today?
I'm so glad to be speaking with you today, Kathleen. I'm actually a pretty big fan of your book, which is amazing, and we'll actually get into that a little bit later on. But Kathleen, can you tell me a little bit about yourself?
Yes. So, as you said, my name is Kathleen. I am mother of 4 and a grandmother to 2. And I am an author, a speaker, and I have been working with women in the fitness and coaching industry now for over 26 years.
Wow.
And it's so hard for me to believe sometimes that much time has passed.
Right.
But, just the experience that I have gained in myself and with others has led me to where I am today. And I'll talk a little bit more later about the nonprofit that I have brought over and founded in the USA called Helping Handbags. And
Wow.
so that's another thing that I'm doing right now.
Wow, that is awesome. So, Kathleen, tell me, how long have you been guiding others on, getting healthy and self-perception and fitness?
Like I said, for about 26 years. And it's something that I got into because, I've always... when I was in high school, I had an eating disorder, and after, getting over that, I knew that I was going to live my life healthfully and on purpose from then on. And that's when I began personal training women and studying more about that and getting certifications in that, and then nutrition and things of that nature, so that I knew as I got older and when I started a family, I could actually use this as a way of living and a lifestyle. So that's how long I've been doing that. And as we age, and like I'm 47 now, and the things that I was doing when I was 20 and then 30 and now in my 40s is different. So with the experience of working with all of the women and myself, it's been so awesome to see how things evolve over time and how we can't do the things that we did in our 30s to either, stay healthy, eat right, exercise, really is different with every age.
Most definitely. And I'm actually glad that you pointed that out, because, a lot of people feel as they get older that they really can't continue doing what they've done before. But I'm really proud to see that you're actually continuing to put that step forward and actually continuing your craft. So that's beautiful. I'm glad you're doing that.
Yeah. Well, thank you. And it is so important, because if not, it can be frustrating.
Yeah.
If you're in your 30s, and we're talking about the outside, and the inside with health of your body, but the same thing, for instance, let's talk about workouts just for a quick second, because this is what I did for so many years. And the same things you did when you were 20, you're going to need to change it up when you're in your 30s and then in your 40s. But it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because you're evolving. Your body is just going to even get better and better. And I truly believe that. And I have seen that in myself and in so many others. And, I guess that also brings me to, I think, a word, self-perception.
Perfect. That's perfect. Actually, I actually want to ask you, can you explain to the audience what is self-perception?
Yes. So first, let me explain the difference between self-perception and self-care. A lot of people get a little bit confused with that or think it's the same thing, but it's not. So self-care is the things that we do for ourselves, like get a massage, hang out with friends, read a book, things that we do to nurture ourselves, right? Take care of ourselves. And self-perception is what we think and feel about ourselves. And it's truly the base of the way our lives unfold. Because if you think about it, the way we feel about ourselves is what we're radiating out into the universe every single day. So if we think we're not smart enough, or we're not pretty enough, or not the right size, shape, whatever, then that is what we're carrying with us. And so the past 26 years, when I started having to work on myself years ago, I started incorporating this in with the women that I was working with. So not just working on their outside, but the inside, because it's really the inside that matters. It doesn't matter what our outside looks like if our inside is not 100%, feeling like we absolutely love who we are.
Right, definitely, yeah. That can definitely have an effect, especially on the outer world who you're giving it out to. Even if it's just your everyday people you're around, that can really affect other people. And sometimes you won't really realize it, which is, sometimes people think, they're giving out positivity or anything, or they're just, going about their everyday normal routine. But you can actually be giving out negativity to the rest of the world. And that's something everybody has to look into, really. So self-perception, thank you so much for explaining that. And also, can you tell me what are the signs that people don't have a healthy self-perception?
Well, one thing to keep in mind is if you doubt decisions that you make often, so if you always doubt instead of just saying, yes, I get this, my intuition is on it, this is the right thing. So if you're doubting your decisions, if you allow others to dictate how you feel. So, for instance, basically, if I was to ask someone, does this color look good on me? And they say no. And then the rest of the day, I'm going to have a bad day because of what they said. Yeah. So if you find yourself in a position where they're doing that often and really basing your day on what other people are saying to you, then your self-perception is not confident, right? So we don't really, our intuition is not in tune with us. We're not listening to that. And, this is one that I feel is so important. And if you feel or you notice that you have a pattern of getting into toxic relationships, whether it be with, it can be romantic or non-romantic, that is a cycle that we get ourselves in because we feel that we're not deserving of something better.
Right.
And when you feel like you're not deserving of something better, obviously your self-perception and what you think of yourself is not healthy. Wow. So that's another clue. And I see people in this position that come to me so often because they feel like it's their fault, right? They're doing something wrong that they keep repeating this over and over again in relationships. When in fact, it's the universe doing them a favor to say, hey, listen, stop. Let's look inward first.
Right.
Because then you're going to attract those things that are in line with you, for you. Also, people that criticize themselves often.
Oh, definitely,
so,
yeah.
Yeah, right? I mean, if you criticize yourself a lot, your self-perception is not healthy. So just reevaluate. And the great thing I love about this is that you can change it.
Yeah, you have the ability to change it. You do.
Everybody has the ability to change their self-perception, and it's not hard. Does it take some work? Yeah, it does. I mean, just like anything else, right?
Right.
And sometimes working on ourselves is the hardest.
Yeah.
Because it's not like we can just say, we can't ignore ourselves, right?
Right.
We can just say, you don't want to feel that. Another thing that I notice is when people always feel like they're not reaching their version of success, then that might be a time also to stop and say, okay, what do I really think about myself? Kind of get things back in order again, regain clarity, because everybody has their own version of success. So sometimes people will base their success on what somebody else thinks or what they think is the norm, right?
Right, exactly.
And quite honestly, it's really what our own version is, what makes us light up inside.
Definitely, definitely. You guys, and again, you just heard it here. Don't let other people determine what your success is. Those of you who are out there listening right now, again, success is what you make it. Make sure you know what the success is to you, what your goals are, what you want to reach, not what others want you to reach. It's about you, and it's about what you put in and the time that you put in. So, Cathlene, if you could tell me, what are 2 things that you can start right now to begin the journey of healthy self-perception?
Okay, well, the one thing that I love to do is to compliment every day. So compliment yourself every single day. So I talk about the energies, right? You've heard me say the energy you're radiating out.
Right.
And I like to think of energy wavelengths in 3 different categories: high, middle, or mediocre, and low. And I'm just going to explain this super quick so that you have a base of it. High, those days when everything's clicking, everything's running, like you get the front parking space, you get the phone call that you're waiting for. You're like, yes, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, right? Those are awesome. So that's when you're at that high energy frequency. And basically, you're in line with everything that's going on. Your intuition, you're following it, it's going in, right? It's just clicking. And then you have the middle and mediocre. And I call it middle and mediocre because things are okay. Nothing's bad going on. You're healthy, you have a car to drive, you have a job, you pay your bills, but it's just okay. Mm-hmm. And then the low energy frequency, which is where we learn lessons, right? May not seem that great at the time, but if we pay attention and learn the lessons so we don't do it again, or allows us to look inwards to our intuition, then we just grow from that. And the reason why I wanted to bring that up is because when you compliment yourself every single day in the mirror, look in the mirror. And in the morning, find something you love about yourself. We all love something about ourselves. And if you don't, you will begin to. So even if it's your eyes, look at, oh my gosh, my eyes are so beautiful. They're the windows to my soul. I mean, that's what people see when they look at you. Or flash yourself a huge smile and really learn to love your smile. Because when you start that day off at a high energy frequency level, then you start your day on the right foot, right? You started on the right track.
Right.
And that's what you will be radiating out to others. And in turn, you are building a healthy self-perception because you are retraining your subconscious mind by doing that. And a lot of the reason for an unhealthy self-perception are stories that we have gathered throughout our lifetime that are not really even true. There's no truth to it. We have just begun to believe these things about ourselves.
Wow.
Right? So maybe it's that you feel like you're not smart. Well, who told you weren't smart? Maybe you feel like you may not have the same academic thing as somebody else, but that's because everybody's unique. I'm going to be good at something that you're going to be good at something different, right. and vice versa. So that just helps raise your energy frequency. So flash yourself a smile is absolutely huge. Another thing that really raises your energy vibrations and starts to work on what you feel about yourself is dream the biggest dream you can. Mm-hmm. Sit and think and feel about you. So not anybody else, not what anybody else's dreams are or what they think you should be doing. You. What lights you up inside? It can be as simple as eating a piece of pumpkin pie, okay? It does not matter.
Yeah, exactly.
Right, it doesn't matter. What gets you excited? Or maybe it's that, you want to have a job where you are just jet-setting all around the world. Well, go there, right? Think about that and feel it. Feel what it would be like. And how that helps your self-perception is it helps you to raise what you feel and think about yourself because you know that anything's possible because it is possible. The only difference between, us and other people that we think have it all is that they know they can have it all, whatever their version of all is, right?
Right. Definitely. And, Cathlene, going back to that low frequency of self-perception, since it's kind of like wintertime and it's more like grayish, it's not as sunny as it should be, how it is in the summertime. It's not as pretty and sunny and flowery outside. It's more gray outdoors, and it's kind of, I want to say, gloomy. So what are 3 ways that you can kind of banish that kind of winter blues that's going on?
Yes, because we want to stay as high as we can on the energy frequency scale, right? Even if we're at a low energy frequency that day, raising it just a little bit will really help. And I lived in Minnesota for a few years, and I'm born and raised in Florida. I live in Florida now. I never knew that there was such a thing as the whole winter blues.
Wow, really?
Right? Until I lived in it.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because when you live where it's sunny almost all the time,
Right.
and you hear about it, but you don't think it's a thing. And so I had to really work on, okay, now how is this going to work? And what I found, and then my clients and just people I know have found this to really, really help, is number one, visualize. Give yourself 5 minutes, and whether you're somebody that meditates or not, you know, if you're somebody that meditates, include this in with your meditation. But if not, sit and close your eyes and visualize the sun beating down on your face. If that's what raises your energy vibration, right? When it's warm outside, really feel that sun and I like to visualize the vitamin D, like literally. I would picture little capsules, whatever works for you, right? Whatever works for you. It could be in the form of sparkles. I would picture that vitamin D entering into my body as I was picturing the sunshine. Because that raises,
I like
right?
that. Yeah, the rays going into you.
Yeah, because we need the vitamin D, and that's part of the reason why, you know, that seasonal affective disorder gets to be so out of, you know, why people get that sometimes. It's real, right? It's a real thing. Your vitamin D levels are going down. So, visualizing that and really being in that place. Now, when I say that, I don't mean just sit there and visualize it. I mean feel it. Like, get that super excited feeling going inside. If you like to picture yourself on a beach, if you like, wherever you like to picture yourself, and really feel it. And see the colors in the back of your eyes when your eyes are closed that you would see if you were sitting in the sun. It really does help. And it has to be consistent. So every day is awesome to do that. And smiling. So we talked about smiling at yourself in the mirror, but smiling is a proven fact. And I actually have this documented in my new book, The 30-Day Self-Perception Makeover, that smiling will increase your endorphins. It helps you feel better. It will raise the way that you feel about yourself and the day. So when you're sitting at the computer doing work, it's all gloomy outside, just smile. You might feel really silly at first, but just smile. Smile at your dog, your cat, your family members. Go look in the mirror and smile at yourself. I mean, that in the muscles that you use around your mouth, that is what helps. It actually refocuses parts of your brain. So smiling is huge. Another one that I love to do, exercise. So if you're not somebody that works out every day, that's okay. And some people I find that exercise every day, they still kind of get the winter blues because the exercise to them is sort of, it's usual, you know, they do it anyway. So it's not going to raise anything. Okay. But, you know, getting your body moving every day. And so what I have found to be very effective is standing up straight, correcting your posture, put your feet shoulder width apart, and make sure you're standing up straight. Tighten your glutes and tighten your abs, right? So now we're getting some blood flow. We're feeling our muscles. Really feel your strength. Now, if you have the ability to squat and you don't have knee injuries and things like that, then squat down and raise yourself up. Squat down, raise yourself up. Do that 5 sets of 5. You will start feeling your energy vibration raise and you'll start feeling better. Now, if for some reason you can't do squats and your knees are, you know, something you don't want to do, when I said tighten your glutes and your abs,
right,
tighten them, hold everything as tight as you can for 5 seconds, breathe, don't hold your breath, let it out, do it again. So 5 sets of 5 with tightening your glutes and your abs and releasing. Tightening your glutes and your abs and releasing. And what you're doing is, number one, you're strengthening your muscles, right?
Right.
And number two, you're getting your blood flowing. And you start to feel better because it is a form of exercise, which we all know has been proven that by doing even a little bit of exercise, you can start changing the way that your brain is working. Yeah. So those are just 3 little things that don't take much time. It does take consistency, though. You know, it's like anything else. I mean, every day. This has to be done every day, but you'll start slowly feeling the difference. And it's such an amazing feeling, especially when it's been gray and dreary and cold outside.
Oh, that's beautiful. I love that. You know, I actually need to start doing that myself. I like those tips. I definitely like that. And you guys,
awesome.
Yeah, you guys, if you're listening out there again, any little thing can help you throughout your day. Sometimes it gets kind of stressful and it gets hard to continue on, but you've got to uplift yourself. And those are some great tips that you can work on. They're really easy. It's not hard. Anyone can do it. And you can definitely master it. I promise you guys. So definitely keep that in mind. Now, Cathlene, tell me, what is the value in journaling? Is that kind of going towards a healthy perception of yourself?
It is. And this is another thing that you can do to help banish your winter blues as well, is to journal.
Awesome.
There's a lot of different kinds of journaling, but what I like to do, so I've spoken a few times about the 30-day self-perception makeover. You do a lot of journaling in that. But the value of journaling is that you're retraining your subconscious mind as well. So you can use it in a way to, when you're visualizing something, right? So we're thinking of writing something down. That's one way to use our brain. We're envisioning it first.
Right.
And then we're actually writing it down with our hands. So we have the physical brain to hand. We're writing it down. And then you take it a step further and you feel, you know how we were talking about when the sun beats down on you and you actually feel that feeling of how you feel when that sun is beating down on you?
Yeah.
You do the same thing in everything that you're writing. So, and now in saying that, that's the value of journaling, is you use different parts of your brain to make something happen. Now, when it's things that if you're doing a type of journaling where you're trying to get rid of limiting beliefs and blocks, when you write those down and you can visually dissolve them. So I like to think of them as a little bubble, and then I visually let them dissolve. So say I'm journaling something and it's something that I'm trying to get rid of, right? It's a limiting belief or a block about myself.
Right.
Then first, I'm going to write that down, then I'm going to switch it over to something positive. So, of course, my 26 plus years of personal training women, I would get a lot that I think I'm fat. Right.
Okay.
So, but a way you can change that over is, you've already written that down. Well, let's change it over. So to, I am working on getting myself healthy and feeling better every single day. So then that I'm getting fat is gone. We don't need that anymore. That's done and gone. I have dissolved that. And now by writing down, I am getting healthy and working on myself every day. I'm feeling like I have more energy every day. That's what I'm visualizing now.
Wow.
So I have, by writing this down, I'm now using different parts of my brain, right? Because first I'm thinking about it, then I'm writing it, and now I am envisioning it. I'm visualizing myself already there, having energy, running around, whatever it is, you know, in the best shape I've been in. And like, you know, we talk about, it's not really about the outside anyway, it's about the inside.
Yeah.
So this helps us to work on the inside as well. So journaling, like I said, there are so many kinds of journaling, but this is one that will help you retrain your subconscious mind.
Definitely. And Cathlene, tell me, which kind of journaling do you do the most?
I do the kind where I'm retraining my subconscious mind. So what I will do is I talk about manifesting. So I have a show called Manifesting Magic in Your Everyday Life. And manifesting is something that we all do every day, right? We're creating our lives every day by the way that we radiate out our energy frequency, like we talked about at the beginning. So right. If I come downstairs to my family and I'm cranky the minute I wake up, guess what I'm probably going to get back? I'm going to get back the same crankiness, right?
Yeah.
They're going to be like, what is wrong with you? So in manifesting, I love to include that in my journaling. So there's something that I really desire in my life. I don't hold back, right? So if I want to live on a farm and have 2 horses, for instance, I'm going to journal this. I'm going to write this down. And while I'm writing, I absolutely feel so free out on the farm, and my 2 horses are amazing. I am going to be visualizing the farm I'm living on and the 2 horses.
Right.
Right? And then I'm going to do that every day, and I'm going to write it. So basically, I'm creating and manifesting the life that I desire. Now, the reason why I love to do this kind of journaling is because, I I have so many journals, we could go back and I could show you, that I check it off. So I can go back to journals from 2 years ago, and the things that I was manifesting on purpose, I have checked off because they've already happened now.
Wow.
And that is what I love about journaling too. It's basically documenting everything. I can go back and say, yeah, that works. And it was because I changed my self-perception. I knew I could do absolutely anything. Everybody can, right? But what I want with what I desire in my life is going to be different than what somebody else desires. So it needs to be unique and to me. And so that's why I think journaling is so important, and I do that kind of journaling. Now, there are some days, so if I have a whole lot on my mind, I will just write out everything. Okay. And then I'll go back and critique it in a way where I'll go back and change. That's kind of negative. Yeah. And so because sometimes we just have to get it out. Yeah. And once we get it out on paper, then we can make more sense of it. Right. And one real quick thing I want to mention is I also have 2 journals. So I have one that I call a business journal, but it's not just business. And then I have my regular journal. And the reason is that whole jumble that we get in our head every day. We have so much going on.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, right? And some of them are amazing ideas, aren't they?
Oh, yeah, they are.
People that have a lot of jumble in their head are really creative people. Yeah. It's just their brain. I mean, they have so many ideas at one time, they can't keep up with it. So I love the business journal because I will write in my business journal my ideas. And that way I can come back to it and I can take that off of my mental plate and use it when the time comes so that I don't forget about that amazing idea that I had that is going to be awesome. And if I'm out and about, I'll dictate it into my phone. So I have myself listed as a contact in my phone, and I will voice to text myself a message. And when I get home or to my business journal, I will then write it in there. So it doesn't have to be about just business, but I call it my business journal because it's separate than my personal journal that we just spoke about.
Oh, man, that is really cool. I like that. That's really clever. I never thought of that because I know, every day everybody does that, where you have all kinds of ideas and then it'll be perfect. It's like you need that idea, but then you forget because something else important just came in and, it's like, oh, man, I forgot what I was thinking. And, oh, my gosh, I need to do that. And that's a really, really cool tip also, because everyone has their phone on them all the time. So if you don't have your journal with you right now, just voice a text or text it to yourself really quick. Just jot it down pretty much in your phone and then save it and then come back to it. That is awesome. That is awesome. Wow. Yeah, I love doing that. I have gone back to things and I'm like, yes, this is the time, because it just may not have been the right time then either for me to pursue that one thing. Right. But if I felt passionate about it enough to keep thinking about it, then it was going to come up at some point. Definitely. I'm so glad you mentioned that as well. So I know a lot of people I've run into always tell me, I just had this idea, but then I forgot it. I'm like, I know, right? Like, man, that is crazy. That is awesome, though. I really like that tip. So, Cathlene, can you tell me, how do you meditate? Because, a lot of people don't really know how to. And, of course, you can find a lot out online. But is there a certain way that you should meditate?
Yeah, there's a lot of different kind of meditations as well. So I can just tell you what I do and how I came with the meditation practice that I do is I just learned from numerous other people, and then I took what I really thought would work for me, and I took that in. And that's what I love about things like this, is we can just take from other people's ideas and make it our own. So for me, I sit down quietly every morning, and I think I have this whole process where I say, heal me, guide me, love me, and protect me. And when I do that, I'm basically, speaking to God or the universe, whatever light coming in, heal me, and the light coming through my body and guide me. And I actually picture myself being guided out into the universe. And love me, I actually visualize a heart around me, and then protect me. And I visualize a clear bubble. And I'll tell you about that bubble in a minute, because I use this bubble all the time. So I do that first, and then I just sit quietly. And if my mind starts to wander about things, I just bring it back in. It's, and I don't meditate for a long time because I'm not a really great sit still person. Okay. So, 5 minutes is good for me.
Right.
And I don't time myself. That's just what's comfortable for me. And sometimes it's a little less, sometimes it's a little more, but this is what works for me. Some people will sit for an hour, and that's fine. Like, whatever works for you. And then I'm quiet, because when we're quiet and there's nothing going on, those little messages that you get, those are coming from your intuitive self. So that's the real you talking to you. Or, maybe it's, like I said, it depends on what resonates with you, but maybe it's God giving you messages. So you have to really be quiet and listen. So for me, I'll listen to my, the voices tell me things, and they're, oh my gosh, it's always so amazing, because it's like things I've never thought of, but it makes so much sense.
Oh, wow.
And this is why I like to meditate first before I journal. Because then once I've meditated and I've gotten those messages, I will go. Now, we talked about the journaling part. I will write these things down and see, okay, how does this fit in with what's going on right now? And sometimes it may not fit in with what's going on right now, but it might tomorrow.
Right.
So I make sure I write them down, because if I don't write them down, like we said, then we forget them.
Yeah, definitely.
So, there's so many different ways, like I said, to meditate. Another thing I do is those doubts. So like the day before, I told you sometimes when I journal, I'll just write down things and it's negative. I need to get rid of them. They're limiting beliefs. They're holding me back. Mm-hmm. I will visualize that limiting belief in a bubble up above my head, and I will dissolve it. So I'll envision them. I'll visualize it dissolving out into the universe and going away, because I don't need it anymore. So it's a weight lifted off of me. And by us doing this, we really can start to feel those weights lifted off of us. Because we all have responsibilities. We all have a lot of things going on in our lives. And so those things that we really don't need to hold on to anymore, it's time to let them go.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? The dwelling in things like of the past, things we just can't do anything about, we've got to let them go.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And, I just want to real quick talk about the bubble. This will be very quickly, but what I do is my bubble that I put up around me, when I'm out and about and I start to feel negativity, or somebody says something to me, like we talked about at the beginning, like they don't like this, or they're, just the negativity, I will actually, I do a lot of visualization, and it has totally worked, okay? It really works.
Awesome.
I will visualize that negative comment bouncing off of my bubble, because I do not need to take it in.
Wow.
So I don't take it in. And that's how I can remain being able to be connected to my intuition and my intuitive self and understand the messages I'm getting, because I'm not letting all the other garbage in. I'm just not going to do it. So that's how my bubble comes into play sometimes. I could be out there here all day talking about the bubble and how that helps. But yeah.
That is awesome. That is really cool. I'm actually going to do that today. That sounds really creative. Yes. So with the bubble, can you tell me, so when there's an idea, you're kind of bouncing it off. Is the bubble to dissolve the idea, or is it to kind of bounce off and get away from you? And so you're in the bubble, and the idea is kind of
I'm in the bubble.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah, well, and it's not the idea. It's the so the ideas I take in. I keep my intuitive ideas in, and I make sure I write those down, because those are really important. And then the bubble is mainly to not take in negativity. So we're in this world, and unfortunately, there's a lot of negativity that goes on. Yeah. And if we're out and about, or if we're with that friend that is kind of like a Debbie Downer, they're always talking down and they're just negative, that's where that bubble comes in. We can just let that bounce off. Or if I'm out and about and I'm listening to the news and it's negative, and I'm not going to take that in, I will go to my own little place in my head of something that makes me happy, and I will let that negativity just bounce off my bubble and go out into the universe and dissolve. Because if not, we take this stuff in, and then that's how we start to gather all that information that we do not need, that's negative in our subconscious mind.
Yes, exactly. Definitely. Man, that is really cool. You guys, if you can imagine yourself in a bubble, please do it. I want to tell me how it works for you, because it works differently for everyone. So of course, when you're being beginners, some people haven't done it before. But again, you guys, if you try it, let me know how it works for you. And again, you don't have to rush. Take your time doing this, because there is a process. So it doesn't need to be rushed. So definitely take your time. Think about it. Have some great thoughts in your mind. Keep your journal and pen with you at all times. That's definitely important, of course. Or your phone, something that you can jot it down so you don't forget those amazing ideas. And just dissolve the negativity. Just try it, at least for one day. Just try it. And let me know how it works. So, Cathlene, tell me, how important is gratitude in your everyday life?
So gratitude is huge. And we talked about energy frequencies. Gratitude can raise your energy frequency so quickly. And it can also allow you to open up your flow to manifest, create, magnetize, the other words I like to use for manifesting, in the things that you truly do desire into your life. So sometimes we have a hard time. I like to always have a list, number one, of things that I'm grateful for. So I have go-to things that I'm grateful for. But say you're just having a really bad day and you just, like, you can't think of anything you're grateful for. We've all been there, even though we know we have things.
Oh, yeah.
Be great. Be grateful for the trees. Like, look at the tree and say, thank you for helping us with oxygen. Grateful for anything. When you get in your car and the car starts, be grateful that your car is starting. Be grateful you have a car.
Yeah.
Yeah. When you're writing with a pen, be thankful you have the pen to write with. Be thankful you have hands to write with. So being grateful is huge, and it doesn't have to be this big, grand thing that you're thankful for. Just being grateful, because what that does is, like I said, it puts you on a higher energy frequency. So what happens when you're there? That's what you're going to get back. And those are also the way you open up your flow. I like to think of us creating the life we desire as like a flow. So if it's open, if we're opening up that flow, we're allowing all of those great things to come in. But if we're closed off, and we all know what that feels like because we've all been there, if we're closed off from that flow, we're just going to stay into our own little negative mindset, and those same negative things are going to keep coming at us. Now, that's just one way that, there's so many ways gratefulness can be used, but that is one way that will just absolutely open up your flow. And even if you raise your energy frequency just a tad, right? So say you're on the really low one, like you're just having a bad day.
Yeah.
Even if you raise it just a tinge, just a little tweak, you're headed in the right direction.
Wow.
And while you're down there, just make sure that, if there's a lesson to be learned there, that we don't repeat
the
negativity.
Yeah, definitely. And actually, Cathlene, can you tell me, is there a way that you can actually really manifest on purpose, or is it something that just happens naturally?
Okay. Yes, you can manifest on purpose. So like I said, the other word I like to use for manifest, there's two other ones, create and magnetize. And we're doing it every day anyway. We are all creating our lives every single day by the decisions that we make. And there's never a wrong decision. There might be a path that we take that we're going to learn more lessons than the other one.
Yeah.
But as long as we learn those lessons. Now, by creating the life that we desire, you must first have clarity and know what you desire. So a lot of people, when they're first starting out and they're realizing, hey, yeah, I do create my life on purpose. I do manifest my life on purpose. For me, I started noticing when I was younger. I was a very young mom, and I had gotten divorced at a young age, and I was in a place where I think great things were starting to happen in my life, but not all of them. And I thought, gosh, what is the correlation here? And I realized that the things I was getting really excited about and passionate about, those were the things that kept flowing and growing. And things were stemming off of those amazing things. And then at that point in my life, my self-perception was not that great. So when it came to me and my health and things of that nature, those weren't going in the right direction for me. So that's when I started working on my self-perception. In saying that, that's when I started to put together that I am creating all of this. So the things I was getting excited about are the things that's growing in a great way. The things that I'm not excited about are growing too, but not in a good way. It's not making me feel good.
Yeah.
So I started to realize, well, I'm just going to manifest this stuff on purpose then.
Wow.
right? I'm going to start thinking of all the great things that can happen and shift this around. And that's when I started working more on my self-perception as well. And things started to blossom. So the thing I love about the journaling, like we talked about before, and manifesting through journaling, I love is that you can go back and just basically check off all of those things that you have already manifested, because it's easy sometimes to forget about some of those things.
Yeah.
And when you go back and look, you can say, this is awesome. Like, I did this. Like, and this is proof that I did this, because you can see it in my reality now. And I wrote this a year ago or 2 years ago or whatever.
Right. And that can actually even create an even higher frequency of your self-perception as well. Just looking at that list and seeing what you've accomplished over time, even if it was yesterday. It doesn't matter if it was yesterday. It was something that you accomplished. And it was one thing. Still, it was something. And that's really good. That's really cool. Also, Cathlene, tell me, do you really believe that, having this kind of lifestyle change, changing for the better, changing for the good, can it lead to a better health?
I do. And not only I've noticed it in myself in the past, things that I've been through health-wise, but I've seen it with so many people. And just one amazing example that I would like to just say is I have an aunt who has now since passed away, but she had the mindset of, okay, I'm going to create my life on purpose. And she ended up, she had cancer. 15 years she did this, and the doctors and everybody just said there's no real reason, after 3 years, they were like, there's no real reason why you should even be here anymore,
Wow.
And her amazing attitude about life and being grateful for absolutely everything is how she got through. And wow. I just, so I know that's more of an extreme case, but, when we feel good about ourselves, and we can create a domino effect of helping others as well, right? Yeah. So if I come into a room and I'm talking to somebody and I'm positive and trying to, put out my positive energies because I feel so happy about life, that's going to be felt by the other people around me. And one thing I need to mention, though, is, is everything always perfect? No. It's okay to not be okay sometimes. Mm-hmm. And the great thing about not being okay sometimes is that allows us, if we remember to do this, to take that step back and say, okay, I'm not okay right now. Things aren't going that great. But what is it that I'm not okay about? And how do I feel about this situation or that situation? And then you decipher things out. Like we talked about at the beginning, when your mind's in the jumble, you decipher those things out. Can I let go of some of this? Is this something that I'm putting on myself and it's nothing I can change right now?
Yeah.
So not being okay is okay too, because that's where we learn those lessons. That's where we can take the step back and really dig into our intuitive self and follow the path that's going to lead us to what we do desire in our life. So yes, this type of a lifestyle change, when you think about things in those sort of ways, you will, all in all, feel better.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. And Cathlene, also, your book is called The 30-Day Self-Perception Makeover, correct?
Correct.
Awesome. So tell me, why does that work? Can you tell me in detail a little bit, why does that work, the 30-day self-perception? Is there a certain thing? Is it just tips, or is it something that is a guide through that will actually help you through something?
So it's a guide through. So it will happen in 30 days. And we talked about journaling. You do journaling in it. So it's a little short chapters that guides you through changing your self-perception. And at the end of each chapter, you will find something that says today's inspired action. And you'll get your journal out, and it will ask you a question that digs really deep into you and your self-perception, uniquely your self-perception. And so you'll be writing this down. And after 30 days, if you do this, you're retraining your subconscious mind, because you're building on each day. So from day 1, right? When I go to day 2, I'm writing what I wrote on day 1 and then again on day 2. When I'm on day 3, I'm rewriting day 1, 2, and 3. And these aren't really long things. So, like I said, my meditation and my journaling all together, even if I do when I do the 30-day self-perception makeover, and I'm going through it again now, the 30-day self-perception makeover, it's something that I truly believe everybody should do at least every 6 months. It kind of keeps us on track and our lives change, and it helps us to keep perspective of who we are and who we desire to be. Yeah. But it works because it retrains your subconscious mind. If you follow the book and you're journaling, remember, we're thinking about it, we're writing it, and we're visualizing it, and it's commitment and it's repetitive. So consistency is what's going to get you there and retraining your subconscious mind. It's consistency. And there's some tips and tricks also in the book that you use on an everyday basis. Because like I said, my show and what I write about a lot is manifesting magic in your everyday life. And call magic because it does seem like, and this stuff happens right before your eyes. Like it does. And one little thing I want to mention is on the front of the book, there's a big pink paint splash. And you'll notice some splashes throughout the book of paint colors. And that's, representative of painting a new life.
Wow. Oh, wow. That's really deep. I like that. I love that. I actually see the cover. It's so pretty to me. I love it. It kind of adds life to it, Like it's not even perfectly painted. It's a splash. And it's just like, kind of that feeling. I don't know if I sound crazy, but you know that feeling I'm talking about, right?
Yeah, I do. I know exactly what you're feeling like. We are, that is what we are. Yeah. We are always different. And I'm going to be different today than I was yesterday or tomorrow because I am growing as a person and I'm learning lessons and I'm painting a new life every day. And it's up to me as to which direction I take that life in.
Definitely. It definitely is up to us. And I know, Cathlene, you've also said that you have your own show that you create for manifesting. So do you have like videos that people can watch to help them like manifest?
I do. Yes, ma'am. I have a video YouTube channel. And then, so all of those can be found off the links of my webpage. And then a podcast. I have a radio show down here in Florida, and we move it over to a podcast as well so that you can listen, at your convenience. But, it's all about creating the life that we desire.
Definitely. That's beautiful. And actually, what's your YouTube name so we can, look it up if we need to?
It is Cathlene Miner.
Cathlene Miner. Oh, perfect. It's you.
Figured I would keep that one simple.
I like that. So cute. And tell us also about the nonprofit. I know you really want to get into that. The nonprofit that you founded and that you are actually president of.
Okay, yes. It's called Helping Handbags USA. And there's a version of this over in the United Kingdom that a friend of mine, Brenda Dempsey, started. And so I brought it over and founded it in the U.S. and became president of that. And we are spreading it out as we speak. So we just got our 501c3 nonprofit status about 3 or 4 months ago. But it's actually been going on since November of 2017. Excuse me. And what we do is we collect gently used once-loved handbags, because, us women, we have handbags. And these aren't just handbags that you just want to get rid of because they're broken or you don't want them anymore. These are ones that they're nice bags. Doesn't have to be designer, any kind of bag, just that's nice. And we fill them with necessities depending on what the organization needs. So what these bags do is they go to women that are getting back on their feet again, that are living in the shelters. And these women are homeless. Whether they're in an abuse shelter or a homeless shelter, probably, and from what I have seen and what we work with, about 80% of them are moms and they have their kids there with them. They are trying to find a job, so they'll use these purses to go out for job interviews. And depending on the organization, it depends on what we put inside the bags. So we always put necessities: shampoo, conditioner, deodorant, razors, the usual. Some of them, we might throw some makeup in there because they're going out for their job interviews. And it just depends on the hope that this gives to these women. Like, just that little bit, because a lot of these women have been in positions that they feel like they have failed in some way, right?
Yeah.
And or they've been in an abusive relationship and they've finally gotten out and they don't even know what to do next.
Yeah.
And so that little bit of hope really goes a long way. And I always say a little bit of hope goes a long way, and it does. And so if anybody would like to start this in their area, please get in touch, because now that we have our 50, I started it here in Florida because this is where I've lived. But now that I have that 501c3 status, I can officially roll it out to other states and other communities, and I can, help get started on, how do we contact the organizations? And there's a whole process that we've put together to make it seamless and pretty easy to get started. And everything, it's a nonprofit. So if you donate, then you get a donation slip, for your taxes, if that works for you.
Right. Wow, that is so beautiful. That is amazing. You know what, Cathlene? I actually first heard about that. I was just like, wow, that is amazing. Like, especially for you giving something back, you're already helping people with the idea to have a clear state of mind, a healthy lifestyle, and as well as you're doing your YouTube podcasting as well, and, creating these videos for people to help themselves, and now you're doing this. This is just amazing. I love your selflessness. It's so amazing. And
well, it's fun. It's fun. Thank you.
Yeah, definitely. And I really appreciate having you on the show today, Cathlene. And if you could tell everybody a little bit about where they can find out more information about you and your social media, where they can follow you as well.
Okay. Well, I am on all the social media sites, even Pinterest, which has been awesome. Yeah. I was always a Pinterest lover. Now I figured out how I can do other things on Pinterest. It's fun. But my website, CathleneMiner.com, has all of the links. It also has a link up there that says charities. And if you want to find out more about helping handbags, you can go there. If you want to message me and ask any questions about any of this, there's a little link that says Ask Cathlene. Even if it's about the nonprofit, you can ask me that question. Ask me any questions you'd like. And now Cathlene is spelled a little bit differently, so I'll spell that out. It's spelled Cathlene, Miner, MINER.com. So first name and last name are spelled a little bit differently, but if you Google it, it should come up and it'll lead you right to the site.
Awesome. That is beautiful. Thank you so much for that, Cathlene. You guys, you can actually find out so much more information again at her website. You can also just Google her. You'll find out her book, which is actually the 30-Day Self-Perception Makeover. And I guarantee you will want to get that book. I believe it's available on Amazon and also other websites as well. And you guys, if you want to listen to this interview again, you can go to vaymo-radio.com and listen to it, or contact me at postproductions@gmail.com for more information and when I'll post it, which will be in about a day or two. I know you guys will be waiting for it, so I'll definitely have it up. And Cathlene, thank you so much for this beautiful interview. I really appreciate having you here.
It has been a pleasure. So great getting to know you.
What you're looking for. Another day is almost here. Until the day at least you will say it's like the end of time. When I